Konnichiwa, everyone. This is Morgan Straughan Comnick again for another one of my book read-alouds for one of the publications that I have composed. So my second book that I ever got published is actually a collection of things that I wrote from middle school and my high school years. So you can tell they're going to be like top-notch. But they're very important to me because they were my stepping stones of where I come today. They mean a lot to my heart. I was always a very shy child. I didn't verbally express myself. Just extremely shy and didn't want to deal with conflict. So when I was frustrated or sad or even extremely happy, I would use poetry and short stories as an outlet to express myself. And that's how I fell in love with writing, and it kind of became a necessity in my life. So I'm really grateful for these beginning poems and having experiences with some wonderful teachers, especially in high school, which I talk about in the acknowledgments in this book. So my second book, my first collection, is called A Sweet Little Dream. This is the beautiful cover here that my lovely publicist, agent, whatever you want to call her, she created that. So I love that. And then the back has the blurb. It's also got some really kind of cool designs here. Like, I love how she did that. I like the almost poppy like theme. I was kind of going for something similar to poppies for something with my grandfather, and poppies always remind me of my grandfather. So this is A Sweet Little Dream, and it's got quite a few poems, like table contents. There's like some poems here, and there's all kinds of, I have all these bookmarks. This is my original copy from about 6 years ago, so I bookmark it when I do readings at schools and stuff. So yeah, and just like all my other books, you can get this on Amazon. You just type in Morgan Straughan Comnick for my author page on Amazon, or you can also type in Morgan Comnick if Straughan eludes you. I am on also BAM, Barnes & Noble, I believe. I have my older books are on there for sure. iTunes had me on there. Smashwords has me on there. So we have different ebook platforms as well. And Amazon, of course, has the Kindle, which all my books are on the Kindle as well. And I'll talk about the prices and stuff after I do the readings. So I wanted to read two poems to you guys today and just a snippet of one of my short stories. I do have little quotes. There's different sections. So I have little quotes here. And then me and my wonderful publicist also did little doodles between the blank pages with sections because I hated the filler. I'm like, I can't handle this filler, because if you see my house or you've seen my tour, I will cover the walls if I have a chance. We rent here, so I can't cover it everything like I want, but I can't stand blank white walls. I got that from my mom. I'm sorry. I got this little, I'm trying to get you like a little bun thing, and I got this one got all droopy. Like, this one looks really cute. Oh, and for my nerdum today, I've got my Kingdom Hearts Aqua Wayfinder necklace I got at Anime St. Louis a few years ago. And I am supporting Team Ruby. I don't know if you can see all of the characters. Yay, Team Ruby. So I'm excited about that. And then got my little moon goddess circlet here. But I'm getting so distracted, I'm sorry. But yeah, so there's little quotes there that I composed back in high school, and I'm sure they're gonna change your life, like totally. But yeah, so my first poem, I guess it was a poem. I don't know if it was a poem or a short story, to be honest, when I found it in my folder when I was moving years ago, but I wrote it when I was 8. And I was convinced to put it in here, and everybody's like, oh, it's so adorable. And I'm just so embarrassed by it. Yeah, like, here's one of the doodles I did in the between pages. I am not an artiste. I apologize for that. I do apologize for that. So something fun I did is right here in front of all of the poems and stories, I tell you a little bit, like the year I wrote it, maybe it was for a class, or maybe like a certain event triggered it. And if it's a poem, like what I was trying to express, because something that stuck with me with poetry is sometimes we overanalyze it. Like, yes, poetry tends to be deep and it's more than one dimension, but sometimes it's just a way to express yourself. It is what it is. And I know, like, Robert Frost had that problem with some of his works, and I love Robert Frost. He's probably my favorite poet. So I wanted to explain my inspiration so you knew up front, okay, this is where she was going with this. And then maybe if you have a connection or similar experience, it'd be easier for you to enjoy it. And when I got some reviews from this years ago when it first got published, a lot of the reviewers actually complimented that and said they wish other poetry books had that. So, yay, I did something right. Okay, so this poem is called Time to Shine. I wrote it in 2004, and this is inspired by my experiences with theater camp and my first production I did at my community theater. I did Yellow Submarine. I was Penny Lane. Yay, thank you, Rick Guile. You were awesome. He was our director, and he wrote it too. And he gave me wonderful advice. He said, never write a play. I got some like little scripts from when I was younger I wrote in here. I don't think they're ever going to become published though. Okay, Time to Shine. Flashing lights, sight of the stage, the eagerness of the crowd, my nervous days, the director's voice, the final call, the rising bows, the curtains withdraw. Ready, set, go, it's my time to shine. I'll show no fear, this moment will be mine. Just a fun little poem in honor of theater. And then this one I really enjoy, even when I go back. I won't lie, I read some of these now and I'm just like facepalm, like, ugh, it's so embarrassing. But if you guys enjoy them, they have a purpose. But this one is still one of my favorites. I wrote this my senior year. We had a poetry contest at the library and I got brave and I entered it. Out of like 40 something entries, I got second place. And I got a free t-shirt that I still wear sometimes. It's like a little beatnik. It says 2007 on it. It's like this really lime green. I was a library helper at high school, so library is very important to me. So this one is called Even I Can. And I wrote this when I was a senior, so this was 2006. Even a sun can shed tears. Even a melody can rip you in two. Even a raindrop can burn your spirits. Even time can lock you within fear. Even I can frown, I can lose my shine, lose it to the shadow of hate, not even a sparkle to show. Even I can bleed when no cut is found, it hurts, blackens poison, stabs my heart still. Even I can cry, the dragon of mist around me, burning my pride, melting my soul alive. Why stare? Lies are my only memories, you'll never understand what you stole from me. I am happy, but now there's no reason to try. I'll smile again soon, but I want to let you know, even I can feel pain. Not exactly a happy poem, but poem none the same. And then, oh, actually, my agent did that one. Oh, look how good she did. It's supposed to be me. And then I have wrote up a lot of the short stories in here are from my creative writing class I took my sophomore year with Mr. Banger. Mr. Banger is a big inspiration on encouraging me to become a professional or real writer. So I owe a lot to him, so that's why I like to go speaking to his classes, and I always make sure to acknowledge him. He even has a character in the Spirit Vision series who acts a lot like him, which is great. I love writing him in that series. So this first one is actually an assignment from my freshman year. We did an assignment. My dad was my history teacher, and him and Mr. Banger shared a room actually, but they had one of those accordion walls. It's not there anymore, but they called it the Great Divide. So if they wanted to combine classes, they could do that. And my dad was talking about World War I. So Mr. Banger decided for us to do a short story writing assignment involving World War I. And he picked Margaret Sanger as our inspiration. She was a woman who was a big advocate for women to have access to birth control back in the day. And she went through a lot of stuff. I actually did a special blog post on her on my website. I'll put the link below if you want to learn more about the real Margaret Sanger. Because I wrote this before I really knew much about her. So this is not like, I did a story about a young Margaret Sanger, like a teenager. So this didn't happen. It's completely fiction. It's just kind of like, I wanted to encompass the times and just her strength and what she had to deal with. So a girl like Margaret Sanger, my Margaret Sanger could have existed. My mom really likes this story. If I remember, this is the one she really likes. And she's upset I didn't make it a full book. But since it's based on a real person, historical fiction takes a lot of research and work. So, I don't know. Margaret Sanger's awesome. We'll have to see. So this is my last little reading for this one. And it's called Margaret's America. I know, very original. And I wrote this in fall of 2004. So I was a freshman in high school. Sorry. Margaret's America. The chilly winter breeze hit my face with full force, like a sharp blade. My eyes were blinded by the heavy layers of snowfall. As I exited the hospital, the rows of buildings shined in sparkling white glory. Even though the buildings looked lovely, I had to be careful. I had a long walk to the courthouse, and the sidewalks were glazed over in slippery ice. I held on to the miles of buildings so I would not fall. I stopped thinking of lying down for a brief moment, but then I gazed up at her, who was standing so proud and bold, yet had a forgiving and peaceful face looking over the glittering city. I smiled and walked on. Little did I realize that day would be the fateful day that set the course for the rest of my future. I could not be late, not today. That brisk Friday was the last weekend I got to spend with my brother before he left to join the army. It took a while, but somehow I managed to get to the courthouse on time, and then I saw him. A tall, handsome, and strong young man with light brown hair and curls and sparkling clear water eyes that reflected the light of the sun. I ran into his open arms and his affectionate smile. I was all warm inside now and also really happy to see him. My only family, my hero. He gently kissed my forehead and said, "I was worried you'd miss our big evening." "Oh, I would never! Not in a million years!" I yelled, jumping excitedly. He then grabbed my arm lightly and looped it through his own as we walked back to our home away from the cold. I walked indelicately, scared of damaging the perfect coziness of our cottage nestled in the heart of the city. I could already smell the sweet smell of pine that gently hit my face like a petite angel that had just flapped her wings forward towards us as a reward for working. I could feel the warm glow from the rusty fireplace as the flames blazed high and the hot embers danced to the rhythm of our breath. Home always gave me such a wonderful feeling, almost as good as Christmas time does to an innocent child. I took off my coat and happily danced on the colored rug, like I always do, to thank the Lord for this gift of life and this lovely, small, tidy home. Then a thought came to me. My brother was going to the army, and I had no idea why. While I was cooking dinner, I kept trying to think of why. My deep concentration of the question my heart was yearning to answer made me almost burn the chili I was preparing and destroying the fine silver pot. Why was he leaving me? Maybe I said or did something to offend him that made my dear brother want to leave me, or he was just sick of taking care of his kid sister. I should apologize, yet I was not sure what the problem was. Stressing myself out was only giving me a major headache. The more important question would be, why was I not trying to stop him? At the dinner table, the two of us talked about our days at work. I am a junior nurse, and he is the co-owner of a newspaper stand downtown, or I should have said he was. I felt a pair of confused eyes stare at me. He must have noticed I did not pay attention to a word that came out of his mouth. Softly, he asked me a question that startled me out of my state of darkness. "Margaret, my dear, would you like to talk?" I slowly looked at him in fright, shaking hard to not allow him to know my pain. My chest was about to burst from the pressure as my vision blurred and his angelic face swirled in front of my scared eyes. Then from out of nowhere, an unknown force from inside me exploded. I screamed at the top of my lungs, "Why are you leaving me and trying to get killed?" I gasped and quickly covered my mouth in horror. My eyes began to sting, and rows of hot tears were rolling down my cheeks in uncontrollable and painful amounts, matching with its new red color. Okay. And that's a little bit of Margaret's America. Okay, thank you guys so much for listening to another read aloud of one of my works. This is, again, my poetry short story collection from my middle school, high school days, called A Sweet Little Dream. It is $9 for a physical copy. If you want to contact me to get an autographed one, again, autographs are free, and I can send it to you. Just send me a message and let me know. Or you can order them off Amazon as well. The ebook is, I believe, 99 cents. I know it's about $1. So that's if you have a Kindle or an e-reader like iTunes or Smashwords. I'm not sure what platform exactly Smashwords uses, but yeah. So there's that option as well. So yeah, I hope you guys are interested. Hope you guys are staying safe and enjoy the weather. Enjoy some reading. Enjoy being creative, and know that you're awesome. All right, guys. Take care. Live nerdy. Bye.